listeners, and welcome to Four Weebs, that anime podcast where we talk about some good anime and some bad anime. This is episode 43. My name is Leah. I will be your host. I don't know what to say about myself this week. I want someone else to introduce me. Let's introduce each other.
Leah, you sounded a lot like a radio star, like on those movies from the 80s where the DJ is the main character, and they have a super smooth voice and they know what they're saying. You sound great.
Thanks, Becca. Thank you very much.
Someone do me. I'm Becca.
Hi, Becca.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Hungry. I'm Dad.
Fuck off.
I know we have a lot of American listeners, so please take this episode as an opportunity to relax and just enjoy us talk about some anime. We'll make America kawaii again.
Kawaii or kawaii?
Yeah, both.
Kawaii, what do you think, Veda?
Situation
could be both.
I guess kawaii could work.
We'll turn.
I don't have a sick accent like you, Veda.
No, I don't have a sick accent. I just like imitating things.
That's Veda. She's got the best accent of us all.
Yeah.
I'm not the ultimate weeb.
Yes, you might would say.
Oh, your weeb game's pretty strong.
It's pretty good.
Oh, thank you guys.
We should have someone come on and challenge
I should
Veda.
have a crown and some flowers.
Don't get too crazy here.
Do that little closed finger wave. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the queen. Just wave like the Queen of England.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you. Oh. Anyway.
But don't forget, I'm still the harem lord.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Liam the harem lord. Introduction. Right there. He
Solid.
runs the harem. Yeah.
And we're the harem.
Yeah.
No.
Alright.
Yeah, anime.
Yeah.
Woo.
So this week I kind of went for like a fantasy, otherworldly kind of genre, I suppose, would be a good way to tie them in together. Do we want to talk about the good one or the bad one?
Talk about the good one.
Good one.
Good one.
Good one? Okay. Alright. So, one second. Sorry.
No worries.
So the good anime this week is Arslan Senki, which is also known as the heroic legend of Arslan. A synopsis that, if anyone who's been listening to the past couple of episodes, you'll have heard this for the third time, so I apologize.
Gotta make sure.
And I probably read it worse and worse every single time. Okay, so the year is 320. Under the rule of the belligerent king Andragoras III, the prosperous kingdom of Pars is at war with the neighboring empire Lusitania. Though different from his father in many aspects, the young Prince Arslan sets out to prove his valor on the battlefield for the very first time. However, when the king is betrayed by one of his most trusted officials, the Parsian army is decimated and the capital city of Ecbatana is sieged. With the army in shambles and Lusitanians out for his head, Arslan is forced to go out on the run. With a respected general by his side, the loyal Daryun, Arslan soon sets off on a journey in search of allies that will help him take back his home. Liam and Veda watched this one this week, I do believe.
Yes, we did.
That's right.
So, initial thoughts?
I had a good time watching the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, me too.
This is my kind of show. So thanks, Leah, for picking it.
You're welcome.
And thanks, Becca, for not making me watch the bad one.
Oh, you're welcome, Liam.
Yeah. I agree with Liam. It was a good show. Lots of fighting and action and fantasy swords.
It felt so. I mean, not like exactly like it, but it almost felt like anime Game of Thrones.
A little bit.
If Game of Thrones had more generic anime moments, like having the main character be a 14-year-old and
with white hair.
Technically, one of the main characters was 14 years old in Game of Thrones. I'll see myself out.
Becca, wait your fucking turn.
I'm sorry. I'm
There's
sorry,
the guy who interrupts all the time.
No worries. The show did give me kind of like going to comparisons to other anime. While I was watching it, I don't know if any of you guys have seen Maggie.
Some of it, yeah.
Magic.
Oh yeah, yes.
It reminds me a lot of that show, mostly with the themes because it gets like really political heavy, where they're going into like the armies and wars and countries and stuff is going on, and you're like, oh my god, the monarchy.
Yeah, I guess the part, because there's like some narration and lots of like overlays of big maps of the nations and like title cards for everyone's like role in the army or what nation they're from. So I thought that was cool. It was kind of like playing out like if anyone's seen Oliver Stone's Alexander, like it played out like a big historical epic movie, even though it was like fantasy and it was a bunch of made up stuff. It kind of felt like a cool historical.
Yeah. Also, I kind of got like because Maggie is based off 1001 Tales or Nights.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1001 Nights. And it's like a Middle Eastern setting, and like this show is kind of like that as well, where they have like big Middle Eastern style buildings and cities and castles and stuff like that. So it also gave me that vibe because of the setting, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But it also, I know Leah's seen Yona of the Dawn.
Oh, yes.
It reminds me of that show a little bit, but the main character is a guy.
Okay, well,
it
now
kind
I
of
have
starts,
to watch this.
It starts like that, but it's more like dark.
Yeah, less
kind of because like there's more like oh, look at the people dying and they're killing babies, or they're mentioning killing babies, and it gets really dramatic.
They do mention killing babies.
Yes, they do.
Let's talk about the animation for a sec.
Yeah.
I wasn't like super impressed with it, but like, well, I guess the one-on-one fights where it was still like traditional animation were pretty solid. But then like the mass combat, they mixed in a lot of CGI, which it could have been worse.
It wasn't the worst.
We need to have a good long conversation about that later when Becca and I get into things.
I usually don't mind the 3D animation. This one was just kind of noticeable because they had to like animate like really big armies of 30,000 men clashing with each other.
See, at least that's understandable.
Yeah, like the 3D
CG in.
The 3D was acceptable. It was acceptable for what they used it for.
Yeah. And like it looked okay when they were doing the big battle scenes, but I remember there was a couple scenes where they had like CGI soldiers running through the 2D city with 2D characters next to them. That just looked
I'm not
really
That's
painful.
Weird.
Yeah, and I was like, they didn't need those CG soldiers, but okay.
And the show was good enough. The show was good enough in other areas. I allowed that.
I think it's one of those things where they're like, oh, maybe we should try and incorporate it so it seems more seamless, and then really it makes it look worse.
Yeah, it might have been.
That or they were like, fuck it, we've already modeled them. Use it anyway.
Yeah.
It costs money.
Time.
Yeah. I will say the backgrounds and like the overall like world design was really pretty. Like the cities and stuff looked really nice, especially like the big
didn't
castle.
Waste time there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say that I watched like 5 minutes of the first episode because I had like wanted to watch it, but then I just I don't remember what happened. I ran out of time and had to leave. But
yeah,
it already made me want to watch it because it just was like really pretty, and I liked in the fade in intro of the title and stuff like that, and then I was just like, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, any like lovers of just any fantasy type stuff will probably like this show.
Yeah. Which I am.
Exactly. And like I said, it's kind of like Yona, so there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this show's good, so I don't want to talk too much about like plot points and spoilers and stuff, but the plot was like pretty engaging. Like by the time I was done the 3 episodes, I wanted to keep watching, like, for the plot and for the quality of the show. So
yeah, I agree.
Characters were pretty neat. Although in the second episode, when the prince is kind of going on like the chase through the city, and then there's that one moment with the giraffe.
Oh yeah.
And you think it's like, is this gonna be a Shonen Ai show?
Did
you get that?
Giraffe?
Yeah.
No, it's not
with the giraffe and Shonen Ai together. I'm
Come on,
curious.
This is really
more details, please.
I'm trying to talk about it in a spoiler-free way, but there is no bestiality with a giraffe.
No.
Okay.
So,
it's just like a kind of like cute moment. And I don't know. It's
I was cute.
No. Just like subtle. Just like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, definitely not Shonen Ai then, because they're never subtle.
No.
So I'm wondering if that character is gonna pop back up sometime soon, or
I think he will.
And then there's that whole like the guy that gets introduced at the end of the third episode. And it's like, oh my god, his hair is white too.
And it's like, oh.
And I was like, oh shit.
Everyone's throwing around that theory.
Is the white hair important?
Now I want
Yeah,
I want you
yeah.
guys to talk about spoilers a little bit because I'm like, make it sound like it's so good, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
No, we can't spoil it.
Hmm.
Gotta watch it.
There's
I picked
some-
an anime that was so enjoyable that you can't even talk about it.
It's not very often that we have one where we
Yeah.
don't spoil something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
I
I
just-
think
But
like I want to talk a little bit about the white hair stuff, but I think we should just save it.
We can talk about it later.
Yeah.
But I have zero interest.
Okay, we'll talk
Talk
about it
about
after
it
we're done recording.
Later, Becca.
Too tantalizing.
Why can't we just say insert spoiler here, plug your ears for 1 minute, and then you guys can talk and then we can.
Because I know I don't want to make Becca do that editing work.
Oh,
No,
we're
I mean
gonna
people
edit
just
anything.
no
This is
people
my
can
edit.
just tune out.
Right.
Hey, listeners, if you don't want to
Okay,
hear
so-
any spoilers, just fast forward 60 seconds here.
So
That's
in
my
the
edit
first
work.
in the
Start.
first episode, the king is kind of presented as like a cold, warrior guy. He doesn't really love his family.
Mhm.
Pretty generic stuff. And the queen is like also kind of cold, doesn't really address her son or the king or spend much time with them. Then in the second episode, there's kind of like a betrayal of the king.
Okay.
Some people
Mhm.
think that the king is like a bad man. The king gets captured, and then Arslan has to go on the run, like the synopsis said.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like there is like one line of dialogue between some side characters being like, "Oh, do you think that the son takes, or that Arslan takes more after his mother than the king?" It's like, yeah, I guess so, because like Arslan has white hair and the queen does, and then at the end of the third episode, the general that's helping him brings him to like this ally of his that lives in the forest, who's an
Who
exile.
looks exactly like him, and you're like,
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
also has white hair, and I was just like, oh shit, the king got cooked. King's a cuck boy.
Well, that's kind of exciting.
that is.
So yeah, that was
That's
like,
kind of Game of Thronesy.
like, ooh, I wonder why he got
That's-
exiled, lol.
Yeah, it's only
So
Game of
Jon
Thronesy though
Snow's.
if the white-haired man is actually the brother of his mom, and then it's like incestual.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe,
can
maybe
only
we won't go
dream.
there.
Yeah. All right, spoiler section over.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how.
Welcome back to the regular section.
Yeah.
This is the edit.
Uh-huh.
Verbal edit.
Right.
I don't even know what to ask because I feel like this just wasn't my week. I had zero interest in this week.
Oh.
Well, it doesn't help that apparently it was
Um,
good that they don't want to spoil anything, so
Yeah,
I don't even know
what
what
the
to
hell?
ask. And I know the animation's pretty.
Yeah, the animation didn't like blow me away, but it was still like pretty high quality. It made me think of
Yeah.
like Bones
Mm-hmm.
animation
Yeah, I
a
can
couple
see that.
times.
Okay.
Like reminded me a little bit of Fullmetal Alchemist. Just like,
Yeah, the little bit I
fantasy
watched-
instead of steampunk.
Yeah, the little bit I watched, like, I did get that hint of FMA animation.
I know why. I read up a bunch of shit because I was
Why?
bored.
Is this
So,
a Bones
There's
show?
a whole thing. So
Silson, Veda.
the reason it looks so much like Fullmetal Alchemist is because that the same artist that drew Fullmetal Alchemist, Hiromu Arakawa,
Mhm.
also in 2013 created her own manga adaptation of the Arslan Senki novel, which was written by
Oh.
this guy Yoshiki Tanaka in 1986.
Whoa.
And the manga is currently like the newest, like her manga is what the anime is based on, but there's also
Hmm.
like an OVA that was done in the 90s that's like 6 episodes
Huh.
long.
Huh.
And I think there's another manga, I can't remember. But yeah.
Look at fucking Wikipedia Veda.
Fascinating.
I was
Good
really
job.
curious because I'm
Sneaky.
like, why does it look like Full Metal Alchemist? And then it was like 20 minutes on Wikipedia.
Sneaky and smart.
Aw,
Look at her go.
Yeah.
thank you. You're too kind.
Hmm.
Queen
Am I
Wave.
really?
Queen Weave. I'll take that title.
The queen of the weebs.
Yep.
One thing I will kind of complain about with the show though is like at the end, like so the show starts in 1 year and then like or at one point in time and then at the end of the episode they're like and then 4 years later and I'm like, oh god, here we go.
3 years later.
3 years later, sorry. I don't know what it is, but I really hate time skips in
Really?
I don't know why. I just
I
don't
like time skip.
I feel like if they're done well enough, I like them. Like,
I was
if
like a
anything
little.
was- they
I was
serve a
surprised that they
purpose.
time skipped after one episode.
Yeah, that was kind of why I was like upset with it because I was like, oh, you could have at least given us a little bit more backstory or something
I don't
before
know,
being
like
like
approaching.
3 years later, and they only did it like the thing that like the whole thing bothered me, but it was only like a minute long, and some guy like narrating, being like blah 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 plot plot plot. 3 years later, that's the next episode. Bye.
See, like, there's good time skips and there's bad ones. There's good ones, like The Boy and the Beast, where it just makes sense,
Yeah.
the plot
Well, it's
line.
like
And then you
Orca and
have
Logan.
Sword Art Online, where it's like, we're going to introduce to you this epic storyline, and then we're not going to show you any of it. We're just going to cut to the end, and they're going to kill the final boss, and then we're going to turn it into slice of life.
Yeah, basically.
Done.
Dumb.
So
Like,
as long
with-
as it's better than SAO, that's all that
With
matters.
something like The Boy and the Beast, though, I think it makes sense because they kind of do that whole montage where he's like growing up, so you still kind of see what's going on.
Yeah.
When I say like I don't like time skips, I mean when I'm just like they just bang from
Literally,
one time
like-
to the next time, and they're like they put like a little bit of narration in between, and that's it.
The information that they introduced in the first episode before the time skip, could they have just like worked it in organically into like
They probably could
other
have
I
just
don't
setting?
think so.
like they could have just put it in like as a past thing. I
Or-
don't know.
done like flashbacks or something rather
Yeah.
than like an entire episode is set this year and then everything else is 3 years later?
Maybe they
because-
didn't want to, like, put the effort into writing that in, and they're like, let's
Yeah.
just get it over with. And
No, I feel like
It could have
there's
been
like
like
another boy character in the first episode that
Mhm.
I don't know. He isn't in the third episode or second, but I feel like he'll be a pretty important character later on. So I feel like that
Okay.
first episode is important for that. Like approaching the show in like a shonen 12-year-old boy mindset. I was okay with the time skip because I'd rather see Arslan's adventures as a 14-year-old that's like actually in battle than like a 11-year-old that's just stuck in the castle.
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I know. I was saying I would rather them start at the beginning of where they actually wanted the story, like when he's
Mhm.
14, instead of having
yeah.
him be 11 at the beginning. Like they could have just put that
Yeah.
part somewhere else.
Yeah. Or
Like
they could have started it at
flashbacks.
14, yeah, and
Yeah.
then had like one flashback episode, so you kind of be like, oh,
Yeah.
all right
Yeah,
then.
I guess I
Yeah.
feel like they just wanted to establish, like in part, the old general character and then that other young character probably.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I
I
guess
think it's
they
just like a
wanted to.
personal thing with me. I just
Yeah,
don't
just
like
because it
them.
makes sense doesn't mean you have to like it.
They probably wanted to establish a bit more of the relationship with the general that helps him as well.
Yeah,
That's my guess.
I think so. Yeah,
So are you gonna watch any more, Veda?
I think I will. I enjoyed it so far. I was interested in the story, and I mean, like, there's not a whole lot of character development in the first 3 episodes, but I'm sure they'll get better later on.
Yeah,
That's what I like.
I've also added this one to my list.
Yeah, me too.
Gonna finish up a couple other shows first, then probably watch some of this.
Yeah.
Success!
Do we know what year this was made?
I have it up
Wondering.
here.
I
It
forgot.
is aired April 2015 to September 27th, 2015.
How many?
And I think
episodes
there's a
is it?
second
25
season.
episodes, and there is a second season.
Yeah.
Sounds about
Um,
right.
Yeah. It's a good show. I didn't really like the opening, though.
The opening was kind of eh.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I find a lot of fantasy animes have poor openings, unless you're Full Metal
What
Alchemist.
about Alchemist had such
but-
good openings, though.
No, I know. That's the thing. FMA was the exception, but sometimes a lot of them are kind of like,
Meh.
meh.
I get what you
I
mean.
feel like that's, yeah, no, maybe it's just like if it's a high school anime or something where there isn't as much like for the top stuff happening in it, it's harder or it's easier for the opening to stick out.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Yeah.
like with fantasy, it needs to go the extra mile. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Inuyasha had decent openings.
Some of them.
Yeah.
some of
I
them
want to
were.
rule the world.
Yeah. I think it was Change
Save the World.
Was it
Oh,
Change or
I
Save?
found
Whatever.
I found Inuyasha
No,
had really
Change the
good
World.
closing
Oh, okay,
music
yeah.
actually,
Yeah,
which
I
is
still
rare
have,
in an anime.
I still have Deep
That's true.
Forest on my MP3, well, my iPhone now.
Your MP3 player.
Yeah, I know, I
Zune?
almost went there.
Oh no.
It's a first gen iPod, thank you very much. No, it's not, it's an iPhone. I found an iPod Shuffle the other day. It doesn't even have buttons on it.
I still have
great.
my Chromatic, like the original Chromatic. I still use it.
Chromatic?
What the hell is a
Yeah, what's
Chromatic?
The iPod Chromatic.
Oh.
Nope.
The pretty.
You mean
first...
the iPod Nano?
The
No,
Nano,
the-
yeah.
Yeah,
The
but
little
it's the
first
Nano
ones-
Chromatic. No,
The first
they looked...
ones that came in color?
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
actually, they're the second generation. They're still like the skinny ones, but
The ones that are like white and silver?
no.
Or like
Mine's
white?
purple, like a really pretty shiny purple.
Okay, yeah.
I've never
I've
heard
never
of
heard
these.
those called
It's like a skinny iPod Shuffle, but they were
Yeah.
called Chromatic after the line of colors.
I never
Anyway.
remember those
I
being
have a
called
Nano.
chromatics.
I believe it exists, Leah.
Yes, it does.
Alright.
I know what one you're talking about. I've just never heard them referred to as chromatics before.
Oh, well.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to be a huge Apple fanboy.
Look at us
Mm.
teaching stuff.
To the
I know-
like 18-year-olds, like, or
That already
15-year-olds
know.
probably listening that are like, what's an iPod Shuffle?
Yeah.
Well, they're
Let's not
not that
discredit
old,
them.
but, you know, still.
Alright. Do you want to talk about the bad anime?
No.
No, I
Yes.
actually really don't.
Wow,
Okay,
it was
good night,
that
everybody.
I
awful.
feel, I feel like this could go really, really quickly or really, really slowly.
Yeah.
Pick your
Yeah.
poison.
What did
Whoopsie.
we watch again, Leah? Tell me what it's about, because I
So-
honestly don't know.
I don't know either, and I have theories on that. Okay, so Divine Gate was the bad anime. The description, I know, it's so fucking bad. Okay, when the Divine Gate opened, the living world, the heavens, and the underworld became connected, ushering an era of chaos where desires and conflict intersect. To restore order, the World Council is formed. As peace is restored, the Divine Gate becomes an urban legend. Okay, now that part makes sense, alright? Now let's listen to the rest of the description.
Does it? Does
Okay.
it make sense?
Yeah. So in that world, boys and girls deemed to fit by the World Council are gathered. There are ones who aim to reach the gate for their personal objectives. Those who reach the gate can remake the world. What lies beyond the gate? When they reach the door, will the world change? Will it be the past that changes, or will it be the future?
Does
So,
it really
that whole
matter?
description, does anyone understand what the Divine Gate is? No.
Not really.
After the first
gate.
3 episodes, do you understand what it is? No.
It's a
I have
magic wish
no
granting
idea.
genie. Isn't that what it is?
What?
That's what I
guess.
We
but,
should
like,
go back. Can we do our initial
Ugh.
thoughts quickly?
That
I'm
was my
sorry.
initial thoughts.
Oh,
was
fair enough.
I was thinking about the description and what I just watched, and I was like, I still don't know what the fuck is going on, and I don't frankly care.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah. My
That's
initial
my
thoughts. This movie made me feel like the person that wrote it, they're like little, I don't know, the way they would describe themselves is they'd be like, I'm 14 and this is super deep. Because that's what it
Yes,
felt like.
exactly. I was trying to think of a good way to describe that, and you nailed it.
Yeah.
A
Thanks.
teenager who's trying to write an anime about angsty feelings.
Oh no.
And we all know how I feel about angsty feelings.
With some, like, philosophical notions.
sprinkles just on top, just some crunchy
Like-
bits to just like get your brain thinking how
Oh.
stupid this show is.
It's so bad. Like, I know I've made us watch a lot of shit before, but I think this one,
Okay.
like, kind of takes it a little bit.
Wow.
You know, I think this one's like half a step higher than the irregular at Magic High School or what the fuck that one was called.
Oh yeah, that was
The
that you were
irregular.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
actually,
at
yeah.
least these characters were kind of interesting to look at. That's like that was all I could think of was it's like the irregular, just because like it looks pretty-ish sometimes, but it's so bad. It's
So
not good.
bad.
Yeah, like
I
I
need
didn't have to watch the
examples.
regular at Magic High School or whatever, so that's why for me this one's like
the new irregular. Yeah.
But didn't you have to watch School Days, Leah?
No.
Oh no.
No, I think
Okay.
it was me and Liam that watched
Yeah.
School Days
I
because it was
make
like
I make everyone else watch the really bad crap. This is the first time I've ever had to watch my own choices
time
of
it-
bad crap.
Sorry,
Got a
bit
case
you on the ass.
for your own medicine.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So the show is about a guy who's super sad, and the only thing that's gonna fill him up is the rain, which I was like, ooh, too
Oh my
edgy
god,
for
that
me.
opening line. Okay,
Fuck.
keep talking for a little bit. I'm gonna
Okay.
go find it.
Yeah, no,
Oh, boy.
so like my very first reaction, and granted I wasn't paying close attention, but
Oh no, it was something like the rain can fill the holes in the ground, but not the holes in his heart.
isn't my heart?
Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah, it's really bad. And like that sets the tone for everything else. He's super sad because he killed his parents, apparently, which no one lets you forget. He's the parent killer, FYI.
Yeah, ever.
If we forgot to mention, he killed his parents. Let's just remind him 5 or 6, 7, 8 more times. Which is, like, did he really kill his parents? Who knows? Big question mark.
Or he probably had a good reason, or whatever.
Or it's all a big conspiracy because he's somehow the super special edgy dude. Anyway, he's super sad. His heart's broken. Nobody loves him. He's a bad person. He killed his parents. Nobody talked to me. But he feeds stray cats and stray children, and generally,
children.
Like, you're immediately kind of, like, given that whole, like, they call him parent killer, but did he really kill his parents?
But he's
probably
didn't.
Because he understands the poor souls because of all the pain in his heart.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Red and Green Ranger are off being something. They're like cyber police.
Okay.
In training,
in that, like, if something bad is happening, they can show up like ninjas, like crazy ninjas in their color-coded uniforms, and they freeze the people doing bad things into, like, another plane of existence where everything gets all digital and stuff.
Okay.
And if need be, they, like, beat them up so that they'll cooperate, because that's how all, like, whatever. Anyway, they beat the shit out of you if you don't cooperate, and then everyone phases back to, like, the real world, which is really weird because the first time they do that, they're on a train, and then they, like, go to this other plane of existence with super edgy sad boy and random
it's like this, like,
fire
dystopian, like,
metal
futuristic worlds.
I don't remember anybody's names because they're all color coded for ease of description
and to kind of match the element powers.
I just love it every time you say super edgy sad boy.
Well, because
that's what his name is.
Yeah, like,
I like it.
There's a lot of emphasis put on how sad he is and how edgy he is.
And emotions, and, like, they have to, like, spoon feed you how you should be feeling about these characters because of what they've been through, and how your actions are different than what your subconscious is, and, like, it just tries to get so deep, and I just want to, like...
Okay, though, can we talk about the second episode, that whole subconscious, conscious-subconscious bullshit for a second?
Yes.
So, second episode, I forget what exactly happens, but...
Basically,
the
Green and Red Ranger, basically, because we're just going to go with the Power Rangers motif here, because I think it works, are told to bring in the super edgy teenager because they want him to, like, work for their
academy thing,
because he's got some bomb-ass ice powers.
Yeah, he's wicked cool when he's not super edgy and sad.
But of course he's like, no, I've told you no, like, so many times, I won't do it, blah, 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 blah. But then, like, he kind of ends up doing it? I don't know.
Because they're super annoying, and they're like, we're not super annoying, you love us.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, keep telling yourselves that. Cries a while.
So
anyway.
And then they're like, we just want to understand you because we see ourselves in you, and, like, blah.
Because reasons.
Yeah.
Because plot reasons.
Yeah.
But, in the episode, he's off feeding cats, and Red Ranger shows up, and Red Ranger says, ugh, why are you feeding those cats? And the guy's like, I don't feed them all the time, just when I feel like it. And then Red Ranger gets really indignant about that statement and is like, oh, that's even worse, that you just feed them when you feel like it. That means you don't feed them all the time, and that's mean.
What the fuck?
And super sad guy is like, meh, whatever, shrugs and walks away.
Disclaimer, Red Ranger's got daddy issues.
Red Ranger's so... Fuck, I hate Red Ranger so much. So anyway, later on, Red Ranger runs into this child that's, like, looking for money because he doesn't have any food, and Red Ranger is like, where are your parents? They should be feeding you. Child is like, oh, they're at work. They can't feed me. They can't take care of me because they're both working so hard. And Red Ranger's like, that's bullshit. Your parents should be taking care of you like real adults. And then super sad edgy boy shows up, and the kid's immediately like, Oni-chan! Except I watched it on Funimation, the subtitles said the guy's name, but it clearly was, like, Big Brother in the translate. Like, I was like, these subtitles are bullshit. Anyway,
they should have just said Oni-chan.
Funimation. So anyway, little kid runs up to super sad edgy boy. Edgy boy is like, I don't have any food for you, but let's go buy some. And then Red Ranger gets even more indignant about it, and he's like, no, you shouldn't be buying this kid food. His parents should be buying him food and taking care of him. And super sad edgy guy's like, but I just want to give him food. Some parents have to, like, do other things, and this guy's, like, his parents can't take care of him, so I'm helping. And Red Ranger is really pissed off about that because of reasons.
Because daddy issues?
Is it the daddy issues, or is it just he's a huge asshole? I
Probably
think it's a little bit of both. So anyway, something happens, some big fiery bullshit
all of a sudden
happens.
they're attacked. I don't
Yeah.
Oh.
And this is like how, like, I'm sitting here like, they just basically threw the entire kitchen sink into the anime and hoped it made sense, and it didn't.
Oh yes, we can talk about the CG.
Yes. Okay, so to quickly finish the story.
Yes.
Fire starts happening. Little boy gets, like, blasted away from Super Sad Edgy Boy and Red Ranger. And then the kid's dad shows up immediately from nowhere and is like, son! And Red Ranger's like, go save your kid! And the guy's like, I'm too afraid, I can't! And then rather than help, Red Ranger then berates the dad for, like, 5 minutes about how cowardly he is.
I mean, the
Okay.
only possibly slightly interesting thing that could have been in this show if it was done better was actually the boy's father, because it's clear he has some kind of, like, PTSD.
Yeah.
And that's why he couldn't help him, because he got, like, flashbacks or something of
some
dude walking out of a fire, whether it was him or whatever. But anyway, so he starts having, like, an attack, basically, and physically can't go help his son. And I'm like, that's a cool concept, if this was done better.
Well, the part that got me was that Red Ranger, rather than help the son who's, like, surrounded by fire and in danger while this like, attack is happening, he stands there and yells at the dad for being too much of a coward to go save his kid.
Save your son! Like,
so then, after they deal with whatever's causing the explosions, which doesn't even matter, like, this is how stupid the show is, Fire Guy shows up to fucking yell at the dad again, because the dad really fucked up, and he's like, go save your son! And Super Sad Edgy Guy shows up, and he's like, FYI, that guy's hurt. Also, he's trying to save his son, but his fear, like, his consciousness is that he wants to save his son, but his subconscious is that he's scared, and his subconscious is winning, and we need to be more empathetic to that. And then he goes and, like, helps the kid down. But I'm like, fucking Red Ranger's a huge dickbag, and that's all I got from this episode.
pretty much. They also have, like, a really lame, like, well, at least they did it in the English, like, a voiceover narrator talking about all of the characters' feelings, but, like, in a really dumb, poetic, like...
I'm 14 and this is deep
it's
way.
It's just so bad. Like, And then, in the middle of the fight scene in episode 2, this is where I was talking about CG, kind of like you guys were talking about in your anime.
Mm-hmm.
And the lack of seamlessness. It's like literally 1 second it's 2D and then like bam, all of a sudden it's CG and it doesn't even start where it should. Like they're still just standing there doing, you know, like could have been 2D animated and all of a sudden they're just like CG.
I got a feeling that this show really suffered from budget though.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know.
Like, the one frame that stood out to me is 2 characters talking, and the character that's talking turns their head to look at the other character and continues talking, but it's just like a frozen frame of the other character staring at the person that's speaking. I was like, that's the sign that they didn't have budget to animate this scene.
Yeah.
So this is what they went with. But
I don't know. I feel like again, it's one of those things where I feel like the CG wasn't even necessary. I get that it's like the new fad now, but like, what they did could have easily been done in 2D. It was action, but it was nothing action that you like. It could have been done in 2D. Like it was nothing.
It wasn't
super extravagant.
It wasn't good action at all.
No,
it was very
wasn't
plain. Like,
like it's
action
really
is stretching
weird.
it.
And can I just say, like, just in general, I'm really sad if anime is going to keep using a lot of CG. Because, like, a really huge reason why I watch anime and love anime is because it's still one of the kind of, like,
rare
mediums you can still watch in 2D.
Yeah, me too.
You know? Like,
I don't know. I think 3D artistic is 2D animation. I've seen some animes merge the two really well.
Yeah,
I'm
usually
like-
if
It can
have,
be done well.
like, oh, of course it can, and like, but that's when they just mix it. But when I'm finding with a lot of newer animes is they're doing like full CG scenes right
Well,
smack
no,
in the
like,
middle of
You can talk about
other
something like
ones.
Knights of Sidonia, which is all CG.
Yeah.
But it's still an anime. And like that works kind of fine for that show, in my opinion. It doesn't look bad, but I prefer 2D animation, so that's just me.
I think when it's really glaring, it's really... I find it really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I think the better it gets, the more seamless it'll get, and then maybe it'll be easier to forgive.
Yeah,
but
like
it's not
it is
there yet, right?
Yeah, like it is them trying it out and that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I prefer it when it's like mixed in, like, you know, like with Gundams and the like machines and stuff like that. Then I totally
They
get it.
do
and I
like
think it
cars or
works.
something.
Yeah. Or
Fair
like you
enough.
guys were saying in your episode where, you know, it's this mass army, like that's totally understandable.
Yeah, because it's
Like,
a
that
lot
makes
to 2D
sense.
anime, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that would be like really, really tedious to do.
Raw 300 of the same
Yeah.
character, like, oh god.
Let me get
Frame
on
by
that.
frame.
Copy
Yeah.
paste. Copy paste.
Oh god.
300 times, though.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
lot.
I mean, it's the same thing in 3D. It's just easier
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can place them with math.
Aw,
with math.
You harsh mistress, you.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that there's maybe there's obviously something going on bigger with the whole World Council thing that could be more interesting, and I kind of was into the character design of like the weird henchmen people.
Yeah.
Like, the Joker dude, I don't know, it just like it overly screamed like anime, but
Yeah.
I was okay with it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because like they have a cool concept going on for sure, but they just like ruin it by putting too much of the like trying to be emotional and philosophical without actually giving anyone any content or attachment to the characters to work with.
Or like context of things, or like overly pushing. It was overly dramatic was part of the problem. I just like even the third episode where it's the Green Ranger, the chick, kind of telling her story about why she's looking for the Divine Gate. Part of it is like everyone treats this Divine Gate kind of like a myth, but also like a for sure probability that it's going to pop up. And that's where I'm like, is it really an urban legend? Because all these people seem really sure it's going to come up. And there's only one person that's like, you don't believe in that, do you?
Yeah.
Everyone else does. So I'm like, well, obviously, like, it's a thing that exists in their world for sure.
Okay, the one thing, maybe they explained it and I just missed it because my brain like turned off for most of this anime. Do they explain like why they have powers?
At some point, somebody mentions fairies and elves.
Yeah, because
in the first episode,
like that blue-haired girl is an elf. Like it's like the academy has like a bunch of like elves and like leaders who all like have a different element.
But nobody
like the one you see is the water fairy.
But nobody actually explains what exactly that means in the context of like how this world is different than ours. When they introduced like the fairies and the elves, I was like, do tell, and then they don't. So I was like, is that maybe just like code words for the different levels of the magic users or something?
Maybe?
Is it magic? Is it science? I don't know. Nobody's taking the time to explain it to me, and I don't have any interest. Like, if I have to fucking Wikipedia how this goddamn universe works, your show sucks.
Yeah. Well, they don't explain to you the whole how 1 minute you're in like, you know, modern Japan, like a little bit in the future, but whatever, more like regular world Japan. Now all of a sudden they're in this like, you know, post-apocalyptic looking like warehouse academy setting. I don't know, it's just confusing.
It just like super sad guy is an adaptable or an adapter or something. I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know if that makes them special or not. Like they don't take any time to explain anything. They just kind of like shove you into it, and maybe you're supposed to catch up eventually, but I don't know when. Like by the third episode, it feels really clear that they're not actually going to take time to explain what's going on.
Nope, because they're too busy being angsty.
Yeah, well... Fuck.
How do I hold on to all this edge?
Nope.
All we were missing was... Yeah, it was just... it felt like they took a bunch of different ideas, cobbled them in together, hoped it worked, it didn't at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I suppose if you just didn't want to think about what you're watching, you could watch this.
Okay,
but...
no, because we've watched some stuff where you don't really have to think about it, and I've been like, you know what? This is satisfying my needs right now. This one's just to piss off.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because within 10 minutes of watching the first episode, I was like, I don't want to watch this.
Wow.
Please make it stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I take it you're not gonna keep going?
Yeah.
Oh, apparently this was a game.
That might have made more sense.
That makes a little more sense.
But that doesn't make up for shitty storytelling. There's no.
They probably didn't know how to adapt the story from the game, and if the story from the game wasn't good to begin with, then they just shittily adapted a shitty story and made it worse.
Then why would you adapt it in the first place? Why would you spend money on this?
Maybe they thought it was a good idea at the time, and they got into it, and they're like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. Put CG in it.
Oh my god, this one reviewer on Mal Mixmatch, he basically is just reiterating everything we just said.
Oh, good.
He said, Divine Gate is the absolute worst show I've ever had the displeasure of watching to completion. Let's go over a rundown of our characters and what they're trying to do, and he calls them all, like, blue and red, and, like...
Yeah, because that's what they are, like...
Yeah.
Okay, the one guy's name is Ake, and I remember that because I was like, I recognize that name from Ranma 1/2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think somebody was named Hitomi, because... Why not?
Hitomi,
from Escaflowne.
Escaflowne, yeah. Thank you, Veda. I was like, what? Sure. I'm blanking now.
I don't know. Final verdict? Yep. No, I will not watch any more of this. I'm angry I had to watch this much already.
Apparently, someone said there's a literal Deus Ex Machina in the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that exactly means, but...
I think that just means they, like, pulled it out of their ass.
Ah.
Oh, I wonder if somebody literally pulls something out of their ass.
Not like that.
But that's how you would literally have Deus Ex Machina happening.
Someone gave story 1 out of 10. I shat my pants because there's 0 waifus in this anime.
Yeah, because they're all...
Bravo.
The only good waifu is super sexy sad boy.
1 out of 10. I couldn't hear horny Japanese girls talk, but only guys.
Whoa.
Oh my.
It's not good.
I don't know. It's really bad. I will not watch any more. Listeners, you shouldn't either. And it's not even like, oh, it's so bad you should watch it. Like,
yeah, it's a waste of time.
This is not Garzy's Wing. Like, just don't watch it.
Not much is Garzy's Wing.
Well said.
Oh, that's true. Yep.
Yup.
Yep. I got revenge on myself this time. So
bravo.
You're welcome, guys.
Well, you picked like a really good one and a really bad one.
Mm-hmm. I did my job well. You
balanced it well.
Solid. Sweet.
All right,
Marbles.
Well, Marbles. We always do Marbles before I tell you what you're watching.
Yes.
So
we will draw marbles.
Oh, I guess we should explain. So every week we draw marbles. There's 1 red marble, 3 white marbles. Whoever gets the red marble gets the displeasure of watching the bad anime for that week.
But they get to pick who goes down with them.
Yeah. True. They get to exact some revenge of their own. And then they also get to pick the animes for the following week. So, like, it's not all a huge loss. Although some days I question whether or not it's worth it.
Some days I question whether living is worth it.
Existence is pain.
Too edgy for you.
Leah,
Leah's
super sad boy.
You gotta keep up with all your edge.
Yeah, don't cut yourself on that edge, Liam.
There's just too much. I'm like a diamond. All my edges. Who would like to get their marbles first?
I'll go first.
I gotta like write that down as a quote. I've got so much edge. I'm like a diamond.
It's been a really long week. Cut me some slack. Veda, you get a white marble.
Woo!
Woo! Who's next?
Marble.
Leah.
Okay.
Leah, you get a white marble.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dun dun.
Liam, do you want to go next?
Yes.
He's gonna get the red marble.
Well, it doesn't. If you call it that way.
Don't cheat, Becca. Just put your hand in the jar. Don't look.
He got a red marble.
Oh.
Oh.
Sorry, dude.
I think it's been a
love it.
while since I've watched a bad one. So.
Leah's the magical unicorn that knows the future. Quickly, please give me the winning lottery ticket numbers.
Okay.
I wish I could do that for
So
myself.
as Leah and Becca watched the last bad one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although I don't know.
A reminder: Veda's been watching a lot of shit lately.
I have.
Yes, whether she knows it or not.
What?
Rat.
Yeah, we really did kind of shit on you for like a
It's
month.
okay. I know, I went back and looked and I was like, holy shit, I've been watching the bad anime for like 8 episodes in a row.
I think it's been a while since me and Leah watched a bad anime together, so come,
All right,
come to the
that's
dark
good.
side.
As soon as I put the words out of my mouth and I'm like, Liam's gonna get the red marble, I was like, well, fuck, now he's gonna take me down.
That was more. I think like the last bad one I watched was with Becca, or maybe it's just because I've talked with Becca more recently.
We've chatted a lot, yeah.
You did me a solid last couple weeks, so I don't feel like shitting on you just yet.
Aw, thanks. Well, maybe I can keep that good favor going, because I didn't really go that harsh this week.
Oh, good.
What's the
nice.
theme?
I mean, not
So-
that I want to shit on anybody, but
No, fair enough. I
have
had
to.
I had one picked out, and I tried to find something to go with it, and all I could find was stuff that was better than it, or rated better than it, so...
Oh, I hate that.
Well, it's okay. It's fine. It
Yeah.
makes for a nice week. So, I guess the theme of the week is Genco Productions. Genco brought us treasures such as Sword Art Online and Elfen Lied
Ooh.
and a whole bunch of other stuff, actually. When I was looking it up, I was like, Jesus Christ, these guys have made everything.
Wow.
Clicking on it quickly, Toradora, High School DxD,
What?
yeah, all sorts of fun stuff. Anyway, so the good anime is... Please forgive me as I butcher the Japanese language for the millionth time.
It's okay.
Okami-san and her 7 companions. I'll save everyone the brutality of me reading the actual title.
So that's the bad one?
This is the good one.
Sami-san and her 7
I'm
companions.
gonna go look that
Yes.
up.
So, Ukami is a spunky and, by some accounts, rather manly high school girl. She is tall, speaks in traditional masculine ways, and is very proficient in fighting. Ukami-san's best friend is the small and high-pitched voice Akia. Akai. Fuck my life.
Akai is right.
I'm just here to butcher languages and fuck shit up. Incidentally, the two are rather flat-chested, and the fact that the narrator is all too eager to point that out. So, they are members of the Otagi Bank, a club in the high school that assists students with their problems in return for their assistance on a different problem at a later date. Thus, the fuck my life. The Togi Bank is effectively a loan institution for problems where you can take out a loan for a solved problem, but you have to repay it sooner or later. Essentially, it follows the main character and a group of her friends as they deal with like these different problems, and it sounded really cute, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's watch that one.
Sounds fun.
It was made in 2010. Good times. The bad anime is the one that I actually had picked out for a couple weeks now. It is called Magical Girl Raising Project.
You know how I feel about magical girl.
I think you'll actually like this one,
animes.
Leah. So, a social game called the Magical Girl Raising Project allows 1 in tens of thousands of people to be a magical girl, possessing extraordinary physical capabilities and looks, as well as the special magical powers that set them apart from the rest of the race. But one day, in a district containing 16 magical girls, the administration announces that it must have the number of magical girls to solve the problem of magical energy. At first,
Is this
the
a
16
magical girl death game?
Yes!
Yes!
At first,
Cool.
the 16 magical girls race to collect more magical candy than their competitors, but the rules quickly become twisted, and it quickly becomes a murderous battle for survival among them!
Okay, I lied. This sounds fucking great.
Yeah, I read the description and I was like, holy fuck, I want to watch that shit, and then I saved it and now I don't get to watch it.
Watch it anyway.
Yeah, it's got a 7.07 on Mal, so like it's not even really that bad. Ukami-san and her 7 companions is a 7.38, so they're both like okay.
They're
What's
close.
this one called?
This
Magical
one is
Girl
called
Raising Project?
Yeah, and it is currently being simulcast on Crunchyroll because it is a fall 2016 anime.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh.
getting
There's
it on
3
the
episodes
ground
out
floor. Yes, I believe we're on episode 5 right now.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that's what I picked because the Magical Girl one sounds great. It's kind of like a twisted Madoka Magica, which I really
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So
Cool.
That's what I got. I'm
You're
just really
lucky.
happy.
I was about to be very unimpressed.
I know. But you were like, Magical Girl, and I was like, no, just wait.
Wait.
Death games.
And I'm like, yes.
I know. That's why I was like,
Give me the fantasy and death game animes. I'll watch them.
Yup.
So we'll see how that turns out. That's all I got.
Tune in next week.
That shit. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
what?
do it. Go ahead.
Oh,
Yes.
I don't remember we do the same thing. I just was gonna say we apologize for that random week of no
That was a long
episode
time ago.
upload.
That was a long time ago. Nobody remembers that anymore.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That would have been the previous, yeah.
Timeline. I'm apologizing for my past self once again because I just feel so bad.
You know what? Technically, I should be the one apologizing because I'm the one that fucked up in uploading. But that happened so long ago, I don't know what we're talking about. So I'm really sorry, listeners.
Steins Gate. I traveled to K. I'm confused.
Oh, whoa.
We just gave everyone time to recover from their sugar high from Halloween. It's okay. We're doing this for free. What more do you want from me? Anyway,
Donk.
donk. I donk you.
I donk you too.
I was gonna do, hey, we're on Facebook, we're on Podbean, and we're on iTunes. Check us out. Leave some comments or something. Rate us. I think you can do that on iTunes. Probably. I'm still waiting for that one comment to show up on Podbean that
And we
said
can be
we
like,
had.
You are our favorite person ever. Unless it's spam, then
Yeah,
screw you.
I kind of think it might be spam. I
This
think
is
that's why it
probably
didn't show up. But, maybe it wasn't. Maybe.
glitter of hope.
Maybe
Yeah.
it was someone who confessed their love and then got embarrassed and got rid of it.
Well, I don't understand how you could possibly be embarrassed by loving us.
Whoa.
All right.
I'm looking at you, listeners.
Wow, chicka wow wow.
Yep. Step out
Anyway,
of my
alright.
dreams and into my car. I don't have a car,
Oh.
so good luck with that.
That'll be awkward.
Can I see myself out now, please?
Yes.
We all
Okay.
should.
Sayonara, listeners.
Oh.
Bye bye.
Night.
Bye.